where the tensions in the streets of Sri Lanka continue to simmer 2 days after a protester was killed during a police shooting in Rambukkana. A huge crowd gathered across the country. Now, the people held demonstrations against police brutality amidst the worst economic crisis that Sri Lanka has faced ever since it became independent from the British. The authorities have lifted the curfew from the southwestern region of Rambukkana. The protesters took to the streets demanding justice for the dead. The protesters also used vehicles to block key roads in many parts of the country, demanding that the Rajapaksa regime should immediately step down.
Very sad to hear about the loss of one of our fellow protesters. It's a planned murder, not just as an accident. We are so mad about this, the bloodthirsty regime of Rajapaksas, and we need them to step down.
We want to vehemently condemn the brutal killing which took place 19th of April, that is yesterday, of a civilian who raised his voice against this injustice.
The Human Rights Commission has now begun an inquiry into police shooting that killed one person and left 13 others injured. Public Security Ministry has confirmed that a 3-member probe committee has been appointed, which will investigate if the police had used excessive power in opening the fire on the protesters. Remember, the police had opened fire on an unarmed crowd that was holding demonstrations against the latest fuel price hike on Tuesday. 15 police officers were also admitted to a hospital with minor injuries after the clash. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's embattled Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has proposed to amend the constitution, in which he will abolish the 20th Amendment to the Constitution and will re-enable the 19th Amendment through the 21st Amendment, which will ensure that the powers of the President are curbed and those of the Parliament are enhanced, while handing over almost all other key portfolios, including governance and cabinet ministers, to the Prime Minister. The opposition too has backed this plan. The opposition party, the Samaji Jana Balavegaya, has submitted an Amendment 21 to the Parliament to ensure that the same is adopted. It is expected to ensure accountability and transparency. Experts see this as a bid to pacify the protesters and create an accountable administration that meets with the people's aspirations.
වැඩසටහනකට මීට පෙර
And our correspondent Dasuni Athawda has been tracking this story very closely for us and has sent us this report. Listen.
Protests have not slowed down, not only here in Colombo but also across the country. Now, the opposition has been calling for the abolishment of the executive presidency and also for the 20th Amendment to be repealed, for which the government has indicated that they will be bringing back the 19th Amendment subject to certain timely changes. So it will be interesting to see throughout the day today during Parliament how the opposition will push forward their stance of abolishing the executive presidency, as well as pushing for President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the Gotabaya Rajapaksa-led government to step down. Also, in what happened with the Rambukkana shootout that took place 2 days ago, police officials along with the IGP have been brought in for questioning by human rights bodies here in Sri Lanka to question as to why exactly did the police use live ammunition on unarmed protesters. Stay with me on as we bring you the latest. Reporting from Colombo, I'm Dasuni Athawda.
But the island nation is facing record inflation, and to make matters worse, Lanka IOC, which accounts for almost about a third of the local market, has announced that it has hiked diesel prices by 75 rupees to 327 a litre, while petrol has been hiked by about 35 rupees for a staggering 367 Sri Lankan rupees per litre of petrol. Lankans have been protesting the sharp rise in their living standards. A large crowd has been camped outside of the President's seafront office since the 9th of April. They're demanding for their President to be held accountable for his poor financial mismanagement, and they want him to immediately step down. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.